you guys for sure make sense. Me?
I got in there, I don't know.
We have a meeting after this.
No.
No.
Oh, band and choir. Yes, okay. I was
We're running.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Along with our Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to read the district mission statement. In partnership with the communities, the mission of the Dilworth Glen Felton School District is to educate individuals in an environment of trust and respect so they become self-directed, responsible, lifelong learners. Roll call, we've got everyone here on the board. Mr. President, we've got Shannon, Munstead, Mr. Lopard. All right. Nobody speaking today. All right. On to number 4. This is a motion to adopt the agenda. Do we have any changes?
No changes.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, public comments and rebel recognition. All right. Do we have any public comments, but do we have any rebel recognition?
Shout out to the teachers and the staff and the students for getting us off to a great school year.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I agree. Last week went very smooth, and talking to all the principals and staff that I talked to said it was a great start. Homecoming week, so which is unusual to have it this quick, I guess. So I've got second week of school, and here we are, homecoming. But they had coronation today. I was not here, but King is Grant Anderson, right? And the Queen was Michaela Beeland. So congrats to those two. Sorry.
The other rebel recognition. All right, let's go on to 6.2, board committee reports. Personnel. Oh, sorry, Wayne. I already crossed you off. The easiest report you'd have to do.
Yeah, no. Thanks for coming.
Instead of 6.2, we're going to go to 6.1. We'll do the DGF elementary report. Mr. Wayne Lepard's here. Thank you, Wayne, for coming.
So you'll have a handout there. So I like what you just said about the start of the school year. It was fantastic. I feel like it was one of our best starts. And as a principal myself, so extremely great start to the school year. All hands are on deck with our staff. We got a positive start. Transportation, food service, custodial, maintenance, staff, parents, teachers, everybody worked hard leading up to workshop week and into the first week of school. Principal visits, we're about halfway through right now, trying to get to classrooms. This is Jonathan and myself, just introducing ourselves and who we are and reviewing Rebel Way. Week of the 23rd of September, we'll start non-tenured teacher evals. That takes about, with follow-ups, about 4 to 5 weeks. And that same week, we'll start our walkthroughs, which we started last year with a Bullseye platform online program. Monthly meetings, we have a lot of committee meetings and staff meetings. There's a list of all of those. Like site leadership is the first Wednesday of the month. Actually, we meet twice a month. One is for more business kind of things, and another one is more for big picture planning. Staff meetings are once a month. PLCs, more of a learning time with our teachers. Grade level meetings, they meet every week. TJF is more of a fun get together if they want to. We'll do a little fun activity at the end of the month. Our meetings are once a month. We used to call it SIT, S-I-T, Student Assistant Intervention Team. Now with Lake Agassiz, we call it Teacher Assistant Team. That's bi-weekly. Last year we started a lot more monthly American American Indian parent meetings. We're doing that monthly this year. And then John Newmars is having once a month with his students in the high school and middle school. Reading curriculum this year, our second year with CKLA. That was the curriculum we started last year. That is matches with our letters training. First year of new intervention curriculum with youth flights.
How long does the CKLA go? Is it through 6th grade? Is it through 5th grade? Do you know?
Let's see, special ed is continuing with Spire intervention curriculum. All staff this year. So last year we had about 30 people do the letters training. This year the rest of them are doing it. So it'll be great to have everybody with some common language. The DADS program, we kind of in an infant stage with that last spring. We're trying to build a little bit more. I know we have one in the group here that was part, or two actually, were part of that. I'm going to try to reorganize that group in October. It would be nice to get a much larger involved group, and I know people work, so that makes it difficult to get the day-to-day kinds of things going, but we'll see what we can do with that. Kids love it, I know that, and I know the dads that were there loved participating in getting to know the kids. On the backside, PBIS, the Rebel Way, and Nurtured Heart. We started a Nurtured Heart approach for how we communicate with students last year, and a more positive twist to how we say things to them. We continue to kind of revisit that this year. A new curriculum for social skills led by our social workers is Be Good People. That starts this year. Kevin Lovegren is an author. He'll be coming to visit in October.
Can you remind me what PBIS stands for?
Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports. Rebel Pride Fridays. It's our, we have nominations every week, 5 students and 1 per grade, and a staff person, and we call them down on the intercom, and they get some kind of gift certificate, treat, and a t-shirt. That's a big hit for the kids and staff. The mentorship program, so all the new teachers to the district have a mentor that the principal's assigned to them, and they meet minimally once a month with that new teacher. I'm touching base, and I think the high school and middle school principals are doing the same. We're touching base at least once a month this year too, just to see how things are going for them. Then they do a survey, or I'll send a survey of them mid-year and then at the end of the year to see how things went too. Lake Agassiz Special Ed Co-op. I'm impressed with how they're jumping in and guiding us, I guess, so to speak. They have a pretty established system and how they do things, which has been good for us to just, one of the things I told them was just lay it out there, tell them what you want them to do, and we'll make adjustments as we need to go. It seems to be going pretty well so far. Yeah, again, great start to the school year. Our leadership team feels we're in a great place, and this is the start of our 3rd year together now. The routines are in a really good. It felt like this year started a lot more smoothly than the last 2 years. I think routines are established.
Wayne, can you talk a little bit about how Jeff Elementary was the recipient of Minnesota School of Excellence? What that?
So it's something I've gotten through in the past, previous district, and it's there are 6 categories, and I won't be able to name them all right now, but it's categories that you look at your strengths and look at potential areas of weakness for growth. And so we did a survey halfway through the year of our first year together, and based on those survey results, put together a plan for maintaining or improving our strengths and trying to make improvement plans for areas that we would like to see grow. And then we send in an application to the Principal Association, and then they review things over the summer. And there's about 5 on average that get chosen every year. But it took about 2 years. But this is me talking. Getting together that first year, I just felt like there was a lot of anxiety with staff, parents and things, so I just wanted to get us all on the same page and get
spring now, isn't there a big celebration?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of more of a recognition of
Yeah.
that accomplishment too.
Yep, so there is a community, so really what it is a community celebration. You see my picture plastered all over, but that's not what it's about the community. And so, in the spring then, we'll do a community-wide celebration, and it's hard to explain things until you go through it, but it'll be kind of goosebumpy. We'll have a stage. I'm almost thinking our elementary gym might not be enough room. Because you have all your kids there, you have, hopefully, you do it in the evening, hopefully all the parents go. We'll have a stage, we'll invite community, local, county, state leaders to come and participate in it and just be recognized. And they typically kind of say something. The Principals Association president will show up and present a plaque and speak a little bit to us, and really it's the leadership team that accepts it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool experience. You would all be on the stage. I'm sorry about that, but you're going to be there too. And you'll be recognized as a board member, even past current.
I was just getting, I was
past one.
I was whispering it up here.
Yeah. So, no, I mean it's a community celebration, but it's also a growth for the school. So it's been a great process. Yeah.
Any other questions for Wayne?
I know I've heard of a fire drill. Have we done any other emergency drills?
Not the drums yet, just that one, and then we're doing another fire drill this Friday. We've reviewed things today, actually, at both sites. We're getting there. We're already.
I will say this, so thank you for asking, Nicole, because we're in a better place this year than we have been in the past. No question about it. Great meetings with Val. Great meetings, just how we're communicating, what it's going to look like. The drill, we had the practice one. Now this week we have another. It's just, yeah.
Everything feels much more ready.
Yep, there, I would agree. So, yeah.
Any other questions for Wayne? Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it very much. All right, now we'll go on to 6.2.
Free time.
Yeah, free time. Board and committee reports. And first one is the personnel committee, and I guess I have this. We had sort of a light agenda, I guess. We talked a little bit about staffing update for fiscal year 2025, all the new folks we had, and there's quite a few that we've added to the group, and I won't go through all of those, but I think we are pretty well staffed at this point.
Yes, we are.
So,
Just we have some para things. I know that the principals were meeting today with Leg Agassiz to review with the special ed teachers, kind of where we're at, because we were a little short still to start. And so that was kind of a refresh today, like, okay, are we good? How many more? What are we short? And so I know they had that conversation today. But yeah, other staff, teaching staff were good. Just some other little odds and ends, I think. So,
we talked a little bit about succession planning, some of the director positions, and also about negotiations coming up in the next fiscal 2025 school year, which will be here before we know it. So, something to look forward to.
real soon.
Yes, so that's what I got. Like I said, it was kind of a light agenda. The next one is the facilities and transportation committee. Who wants to do that?
Laura took some good notes today.
Laura.
I did take some notes. We talked about just the timeline with the grant, the Prairie Grant, on when they would plant. That's something that will be discussed this week. Also talked about the road that's going to be put in just north of the pond. And there was just a discussion about Scott Kittleson and his class making a shed that they would share with the FFA group. That aside, we also talked about a lease agreement with the Catholic Church in Dilworth. Basically shifting liability onto DGF for when there's school functions, when people are parking there, since we're utilizing their parking lot every single day.
assuming this is an additional STEM employee, not a replacement,
Which one?
a special ed teacher?
Oh, for today?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, another one, in addition, yep.
We
Because
just
of
found
the,
out our numbers. Which
well, so with the ALP and the requirements of the ALP and how much time it's gonna take away from, Mr. Boyd, we were gonna be short a little bit, so we had this conversation, most of August, I'll say. And just determined that it's just gonna be too much for our high school staff, with their caseloads. So we determined that we need to offer this position, and so, yeah, we were fortunate enough to get somebody, very fortunate.
For the high school then?
For the high school,
Okay.
yep.
Thank
yep.
you.
And then Mr. Boyd will take care of the ALP, and then he's gonna have some other duties also, so, yep.
I should ask, any other questions on personnel or the facilities committee? All right, we'll move on to 6.3, superintendent.
Yeah, and the first one on their strategic plan update, I just want you to know I have a meeting Thursday with the principals, and we're just gonna go through it again. We did last spring. There's an accomplishment page, so if you just go to the website, look at the strategic plan, you'll see a lot of that, and what's green has obviously been accomplished. There's things that we need to add to it. We need to shift some stuff still, so that's what this meeting on Thursday, we're gonna discuss that as principals and myself, to just make sure it's updated and where we're at with it, and if anything needs to change, so then we can have further discussion. So just giving you a heads up on that. Second thing on there is the school board recognition, so it's a different month this year. Wasn't it in the spring, I think, in the past? And so I'll just use David's certificate as the example. So thank you again, each one of you, for all you do, and the time commitment and all the other things you get to deal with. As not only parents, community members, but also as board members, so you get to hear a little bit of everything. So thank you, I wanted to make sure we said thank you to you guys. The next one, I have a little presentation, so I'm gonna stand up. I'll have it so it's on the screens in front of you, and it'll be behind you, but I have to manually stand next to this wonderful screen. And now I need to back it up, I see it. You need to go back to slide one. So I did share a little bit with you guys in my weekly updates, some things that we've been working on. So Clay County Superintendent, so that's Holly Barnesville, Ewan Hayterdahl, Moorhead, and myself. As superintendents, we've been meeting about, what are other options for us, right? As you know, probably Barnesville is gonna go out and has a 3-question thing on the ballot for some more funding for their programs. Or it's gonna go out for a capital project levy to their patrons. Just because it's talking to Phil and Holly, he said, well, I think it's one more year and we're gonna have, kind of like I've been sharing with you guys too, I'm kind of running out of ways to cut or to skim, great word, because that's really what it is. It's just how tight can we be, and at the end of the day, we have to function, right? We have to pay people to work, and we need them. And we have facilities that are beautiful, and we want them to stay that way. Those things cost money, right? And so when the state doesn't support it to the level we feel we need, then we have to do something. So that's the whole idea here, is superintendents in the region going, what are some ways that as districts, and MSBA is a new policy, and this is just the contents of the slideshow, and so I'm just gonna get right to slide. MSBA has a new policy, and you can see it underlined here. All resolutions must be submitted by the school board and must include a date of approval. So let's say that, Shannon came up with this great idea, and he talked to his board, and the board goes, geez, that sounds good, great, tell MSBA. Well, MSBA isn't gonna just take it for that. They want a resolution. They want to know that in this case, the DGF school board would support MSBA putting this on their platform. They don't want to just, otherwise you get 400 different suggestions and they're trying to figure out, okay, which one's legit, who really is supporting it. So they went probably to be more official and to more have background and more support when it comes to, hey, we're putting this on our platform because this makes sense. So that's what I'm going to ask at the end today, is that we do pass a resolution. And all this is, and I think I shared with the weekly update, it's kind of a hoop, right? You got to jump through this hoop to get it to them. That doesn't mean it makes their platform, but it's a process, right? And I want them to know that we're fighting. And we're trying to get something better for our kids, our school, our community, right? And that's what this is only about. I said it's simple. It's getting tighter, and we need to be proactive instead of just sitting here and say, gee, it sucks to be honest. Well, that's not okay, right? So local optional revenue, so this is the LOR. So this is the first resolution that I'm asking you guys to support, and so we can pass it on. And this is just the history of it, right? So LOR came in 2013, it was $424 per pupil. That's the state said, hey, you can levy this for your kids, per kid, $424. So it's kind of a built-in operating referendum, right? You didn't have to go to the voters. Boards could just say, here's the deal. We're going to take the 424, right? In 2014, there was, and actually in 13, there was another 300 that a board can opt to take or not take. So you didn't have to take it all. It's a levy. So obviously every year we approve our levy, right? So you can take less, you can take the most, and then in that case, it was another 300. So in 2014, basically everybody in the state took it. So we said, let's just put it together. So that's what they did. So then in 2014, they just put it together. Hey, it's 424 plus that additional 300. Everybody gets 724. And 2014 was not yesterday. It was not 3 years ago. It's a decade ago. And there was no inflation tied to it. And so I'm going to show you the slides coming up here, what inflation has done over that same 10-year period. So, and this is what happens as I talk to legislators. I say, the 724 is a big deal and it matters, right? We need it. But if it isn't going to be tied to inflation, and every expense we have is, it doesn't take a genius to figure out after a while, like, the 724 is not 724 anymore, right? It's just shortened. It doesn't cover your expenses. So here's some general information right now. So here's the authority you have right now, 724. Local school boards currently have the authority to approve 724. Now, last year levy was down 4%. This year, I think it's going to be probably back up that probably the same percentage. We don't have it, it's not official yet, but that's kind of roughly where we're thinking it would be. Anyway, the increase in the authority is crucial for ensuring the public school boards not only have local control, because that's what I'm really pushing, but the local board control their school. Don't have the state mandate everything, so it's constant. Oh, the state said, what do we have you elected officials for if you don't get to make big decisions, right? So I'm saying, hey, let's let the local people have local control, and then we can shift the necessary resources we need to have quality education here. EGF is different than Moorhead, it's different than Utica-Iredell. I mean, in our Clay County, it's unique because we have the small and we have the big. And so, as we presented this as Clay County superintendents, it helps Utica-Iredell, it helps Moorhead. It helps schools in the metro. It helps outstate. It's basically like adding to the formula, right? And everybody benefits from the formula. So here's our proposal. The proposal is just over a 3-year period. And so we just said 3-year period because when does this start, right? In the process, and by the time this gets going, okay, it's not FY25, it's 26 and so on. So we need to get this going. So we're just asking for a 3-year plan. And we just want to take your 724 that we currently have the authority to do, and over the 3-year period is to bump it. Started at 950, second year to go to 1050, and then 1150. Okay, and I'll kind of now, as I break this down, you'll see this. So what can this do for us? Obviously, these are the challenges every school in the state has. You know, it's the buzzwords, right? We want to reduce class size or at least maintain them. Okay, we have instructional materials. Curriculums are not cheap. And when you have CKLA, that was a major lift and a major investment from our school district. But those things, you know, they're tied to inflation, and the 724 wasn't. Technology, we obviously know the cost of that. And then, so we're going to have negotiations, right? We need to be competitive. There's schools in our region that are losing teachers because they weren't. It's just a fact. And so we need to make sure that we are. That's major. And then, of course, we have new school facilities we talked about already. We need to maintain them. And so that's really what we're asking for. This increase would allow us to do some of those things, right? Or continue. So this slide is just to show you, here's FY14. This is when it came into be. There's your 724, and this is what we've gotten over the years. Inflation is over there, so this is without inflation, obviously, 724. With inflation, I had put a little circle around at the bottom, which when you look out here, it's a little tougher to see. But if inflation, and here's the inflation rates over each year, some were not so big, some were, whatever, but that's the actual inflation rate. And the impact it has, so if it was tied to inflation, like some operating referendums do run that way, you can have them tied to inflation, we'd be at 996.37 would be our number today, instead of 724. So that's the reality, right? Clay County, so what we did, because this is part of our presentation to our representatives and senators, is this is Clay County. We have 11,000, just short of 12,000 students. And here's the impact of what's actually happening. So here's current LOR, that's what it is. Here's our proposal, here's the dollars. And then the other part, and I'm gonna talk about it as we break it down into DGF in a little bit, the state's gonna have some skin in the game. It's not all on the local taxpayer, right? And I'm gonna show you what Clay County looks like, and then I'm gonna show you DGF. So you're gonna see the percentages and what's equalized with aid and what's levied on our local taxpayer, okay? So this is all of Clay County. The local patrons of Clay County would have an investment of over $8 million, and the state would have over $3 million. So this is also Clay County. This is the equalization factor, and here, so Minnesota school finance is just a joy, but just to give you the Cliff Note version, this is just taking FY25 general education revenue report. This changes every year based on your residential market, or your referendum market value of your district. So you guys know when your house gets assessed, it might go up in value. When those things happen, it affects these percentages also. So we just locked in what's FY25, and if that held true, this is what it comes out to be, okay? So the levy portion, or the local person, is 72% of the dollar amount. And the state would pick up 27.8, so just short of 28% of the bill, okay? That's all of Clay County. That's the average of the 5 school districts in Clay County, okay? Now we're gonna go to DGF. DGF's got a little bit better picture. You can see it's not 60-40, but it's pretty close. So the local, so if, let's say we did this and the local board had the authority to raise it to 950 as an example, 62.4, so just short of 63. Now that's today's number, so I just want everybody to understand it can change, right? Market values, but that's what it is today for DGF. And then the state would have 37, almost 38%. So the one thing we talked about with our senators and representatives is we say, well, there's no new money, there's no new money. Okay, there isn't. But we're gonna take 60, in the county, 70% of the load. We're only asking the state for 30, 40%, So that way you can still say you gave to education, right? The state can say that, but it's offset for them. But it's also offset for our communities, that they're not having to foot the whole bill. So that's what I wanted to make sure people understand too. This proposal is, we both have skin in the game, okay? And that's what I want to make sure people know. And I've said it 3 times, I'll say it 4 times. This is today's numbers. It's so crucial. So people, when they pass referendums, they go, well, the number changed. I know, market values changed. I'm sorry, I'm not in control of that. So here's the resolution. And this is MSB's jargon. And that's all this slide is. There's a resolution in your packet, and it kind of explains it too. I think I shared it with you. Yeah, I did earlier last week, just so you could look at it and read through it a little bit. And that's what that is. But you know what? I should go back one more. You can just see this is DGF though. You look at the impact that has over 3 years. We can fix roofs. We can buy new curriculum. We can do some of those things that we just are going to need to do. And this is going to give us that opportunity to do it. And this is that delicate balance of, yes, it affects our taxpayer, but if we go out for operating referendums or capital outlays like all these other districts across the entire state begging for some support, no, we can do it locally right here as a board, elected officials, to make that same decision and be educated when we make it and know what our patrons are going to end up, how they're going to be affected, I guess, right? It saves thousands of dollars also because we don't have to go to an official election. The dollar amount that goes into getting elected, get on the ballot and get all that stuff is a ridiculous cost also, which you can see. So anyway, just want to make sure, again, this is just the resolution. And this is the documentation, the supporting, so this shows then MSBA what we're talking about, what the inflation rate was, what we could have gained or should have gained over that time period, okay? And so that's that resolution. The other resolution that I shared with you, I don't have 16 slides for you. This is a lot simpler, but it's also giving local control. And when I say simpler, so you're gonna bear with that word, right? But we have restricted funds, which we've talked about, well, since I've been here. Restricted funds have purpose, they matter, but they don't allow for flexibility, right? The state, in this last legislation session that really impacted us in '23, did not give us a lot of freedom. It didn't give us, it just said, hey, here's some money, but here's what you have to do with it, right? And so when that's arms tied behind your back, it doesn't allow you to shift, even internally with the restricted funds. And so what we're asking here is, we have LTFM dollars that you can carry over year to year. We also have operating capital dollars from the state, that's aid and levy. Allow us to shift it, because they're all big ticket items, right? An HVAC system is an LTFM, but it's also kind of a capital thing, right? And well, we need desks, tables, chairs, those are capital things, but it also affects facility. Can we just, at a local level, make that decision? Give us the freedom, no new money, state. Same dollars you give us all the time. But allow us as a board and school district to say, hey, our roofs are really bad. We need to fix them. Oh, but you don't have any money in your LTFM. I know, but we have about 200,000 sitting in operating capital. Can't we shift it for a year? Every year we have to give a 10-year plan already in our LTFM. That still has to be there. So we still have to demonstrate where the dollars are going. Let us have that local control and don't tell us what to do from the state level. And that's all we're asking in this resolution. That's why I say it's simpler. It's just asking, can we internally shift dollars ourselves as elected officials instead of the elected officials in St. Paul? Does that make sense on that, what I'm asking there, or what we're asking? Yeah, again, local control, right? And so there's two resolutions, so, yeah. Questions?
Were you able to break down the average household impact?
No, okay, I didn't, and the reason I didn't go that far is this is just a resolution to bring it to MSBA. One of the questions that got brought up from other superintendents, because I've already talked to the Northwest Service Co-op, they want us to present to them too, so, because their superintendents are saying, yeah, we're asking for one too. So they asked us, hey, did you have any financial group, Baird or Ehlers or anybody break down your numbers? They said, we haven't yet, because we just, if this would be something that would become part of MSBA's platform, then for sure, I think we would. Yeah, no, that's a great question.
Shannon, the capital fund count, that's a restricted fund.
It is.
Do we get separate money from the state for that?
Yes. So right now, and I'm sorry, I didn't bring my operating capital dollar amount, okay, excuse me, and our LTFM dollar amount. You guys know, all right, and the other reason for us, there's different motivations, right? We bonded our LTFM dollars for the project, which also, didn't put both hands behind your back, but it really made it difficult now to fix roofs and that when our fund is shorter. And that's where for us, it would certainly make a nice, would give us an option, I guess, to slide that if we needed to, right? So yes, they are separate. And we're just asking, that's fine that they're separate, but can we have some internal by resolution as a board to shift the dollars on a given year? And again, state requires us to have a 10-year plan, so we still got to show evidence, right? We still have to kind of basically show what we're doing, so, yeah. Yeah, good question.
Any other questions for Shannon? All right, we'll go on to 7.1. This is to get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from August 19th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Motion by Brittany. Do I have a second?
Second. Micah.
Second by Micah. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion. On to the consent agenda. This is a motion to approve the bills for September 2024 in the amount of
$143,334.68.
and then approve and file for audit the treasurer's monthly budget report, which was in your packet. Approve the resignation of Kylie Gildia, food service, effective at the end of the 2023-2024 school year. Approve the resignation of Robert Munt, paraprofessional, effective August 28th, 2024. And approve the resignation of Lynn Bedrowski, food service, effective September 5th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Motion by Laura. Do I have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Second by Nicole. Any questions or discussion?
Some of these, you may notice, and I'll just say, some of these people that you accepted and had added a position, you've probably noticed their name now as a resignation. Some of these people have had some things happen before we even started. You know, you hire them a while back, and then other things happen in life, and so you might look at some of these names and go, I thought we just approved, and now we're, yeah, it's just life, right? And people go through different situations, so, yeah, I'll just say that.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to new and unfinished business, 9.1. This is for a motion to approve the certified lane changes as presented, which I'll have that in our packet. Do I have a motion? Motion by Britt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Evie. Any questions or discussion?
Just so everybody knows, because it's negotiation you're coming up, when we negotiate this, we figure about a $30,000 lane change dollar amount every year. And this one was 34, so we're pretty close. But just so people understand that, when we say, hey, lane changes are gonna cost us 30 grand, they go, oh, no, it won't. This is and last year it was 28, so we're averaging close to 30, so that's how that number gets to be.
Good for them.
Yeah, no,
to
it's
do
awesome,
that.
yeah, it is great. Further education is awesome.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 9.2, this is a motion to approve the resolution accepting donations as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. I suppose we need to read the resolution.
Whereas Minnesota statutes 1 2 subdivisions by support receive district certificate. Final stage approved. In a task force, trustee of the trust created to benefit the district one for benefit. Including trusts created to provide people with district advanced education, expertise, and community. And whereas Minnesota statute 465 provides any city, county, school district, or county that the granted right of real or personal property for the benefit of citizens in accordance with the terms prescribed by the donor. Nothing herein shall authorize such acceptance or use for religious or sectarian purposes. Every such acceptance shall be by resolution of the governing body adopted by a 2/3 majority of its members expressing such terms in full, and whereas every such acceptance shall be by resolution of the governing body adopted by a 2/3 majority of its members expressing such terms in full. Therefore, be it resolved that the school board of Dilworth, Linden, Felton Public Schools, ISD 2164, gratefully accepts the following donations from the Dilworth Lions in the amount of $1,000 for DGF Robotics, from Bel Air Kennels in the amount of $100 for summer rec.
Okay, thank you very much, Laura. So this resolution will go by roll call. Brittany?
Aye.
Laura? Nicole?
Aye.
David? Aye. Lindsay?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Micah? Resolution passes. All right, on to 9.3. This is a motion to approve the second reading of the following policies: 411, donation of employee leave; 503, student attendance; 902, use of school facilities; addendum E. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion?
There was a few things brought up last time. One was on the donation of employee leave. I remember there was like, we talked about, I know there's a minimum and I didn't know what it was, it's 70 hours. So if I'm gonna give to Nicole, I still have to maintain at least 70 hours, okay? So that was a part of that. The other one was in the student attendance, we switched the word to may. So they may, I can't remember, no, I should have had it with me.
May
May require, there you go, may require
doctor's
it.
note.
It's not It will require, I think is what it said.
And I think it only applies to middle school and high school now, not elementary, right? The red line version says that.
Say that again, I'm sorry,
That
Brittany.
it only applies to middle school and high school.
With the attendance
Yes.
for truancy,
Yes.
okay.
I'm pretty sure I just read that before I came here, so.
Okay, yeah, then you're right.
Okay.
But we wanted to make sure we did switch it to may, because it should have said may not require, or will, I think the word was will require, and it may require.
Under middle school age, it wouldn't be truancy because the parents have an educational
Neglect,
requirement.
yes, it's not neglect, yeah, but it would.
Parents would have, be
Yeah.
neglecting the education of their child, and it's a different charge, so a second grader can't be charged with truancy.
That's also true, yes, yes. So those I know were things that we talked about though, in the past, so I just wanted to make sure that those, you guys do know that those got updated.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On 9.4, this is a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement pertaining to the MSEA contract as presented. MSEA stands for
Minnesota,
Education Association.
no, it's our non-certified.
Non-certified. And this was, Shannon presented this in an email to us.
I did share with you.
Oh.
Yeah, so just remember, so this happened because we added the speech language pathologist assistant position, and it was not anywhere in any contract. So we talked to MSEA's leadership, and this is the resolution, or the MOA we had to add to this contract. We also added, which we don't have this position, and we haven't hired this position, and we don't need to hire this position, but in case it were to come to it in the future, it's called a special education teacher assistant. It would be similar to the rights, similar in the description of what the speech language pathologist assistant does. Gets direction from a teacher and not just a para, but does some of that teaching and implementing, which we found out we could have done. We didn't need to because we found somebody, but there is allowed, I guess, to have this assistance. So just in case we're ever to come up in the future, we brought it up to MSEA and said, can we just add it now? And they did agree that, okay, sounds good, we'll just add it. So that's what this is about.
Does anybody have any questions on
Questions?
that? Essentially to add a position to the contract that we negotiated last year.
Yeah, and it has to fall under somewhere. It would not fall under a confidential. They're obviously not a teacher contract, so that's the other one we have, so, yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
Any other questions? Do I have I don't think we got a motion for that. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Amy. Any questions or discussion?
Sorry.
No, that's all right, you're good. All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign, motion carries. On to 9.5. This is to approve the non-certified contract for Stephanie Albert, paraprofessional, class 2, step 10, effective the start of the 2024-2025 school year. Do I have a motion? Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 9.6. This is to approve the LOR resolution as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second? Second by Brittany. And because it's a resolution, I think we probably should do that.
I do need to say something real quick, just so you understand this. So if you look at the resolution you have in your packet, you'll notice right under my email address, it says pending, because MSBA wanted to see this last week. And so I had to send it to them, but I had to say that it was pending because you guys hadn't voted on it yet. And I haven't taken that off. So when this gets passed, I just want to make sure you guys understand this. When this goes to them tomorrow, that sentence will take that off if the resolution passes. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe it's on the other one too. Yeah, it is, because they needed, I couldn't say it was done because it wasn't. So, is that, okay.
Be it resolved
think we should just clarify again for the public, this is just asking MSBA, we're not doing this right now.
Correct.
Just to clarify, just something that we support as a board, just due to the fact that, as Shannon mentioned earlier, during our negotiations or paying bills or, doing roofs, basically the state of Minnesota is not giving us funds to continue to do all the things that we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the grocery store, groceries are different, right?
Yeah.
They're,
I just wanted to reiterate,
Yeah.
just so people know, we're not raising your taxes, or this
No.
is just a possibility to levy money in the future, if we need to.
correct.
It's worth noting that we have this authority already. Right now, we're just asking for an increase in this.
Correct.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, then let's do a roll call since it's a resolution. Brittany?
Aye.
Laura? Nicole?
Aye.
David? Aye. Lindsay?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Micah? Resolution passes. All right. On to 9.7. This is a motion to approve the LTFM capital resolution as presented. Do I have a motion? Motion by Nicole. Do I have a second? Second by Micah, I think, by a nose.
Loud and proud, Micah. Loud and proud.
And this is a resolution, we'll need to read this, and I think Shannon might have a little piece here to just.
Yeah, just because I see how it's, yeah. And so it basically, it goes into describing the problem is what we're urging the legislators to do. Due to the lack of school board flexibility. That's what we're asking. The freedom or the local control to be able to move capital, operating capital, and or LTFM dollars or vice versa.
Be it resolved, MSBA urges the legislature, let's see here, sorry. To allow
The local school board flexibility when it's
to
so.
allow the lack of local school board flexibility, funds for facility maintenance or vice versa. There are often situations when the district has needs in capital areas or with maintenance issues to buildings. The ability for the elected school board members to, by resolution, transfer funds from capital to LTFM or vice versa, address these district needs would be extremely helpful. The school district may have to delay fixing or replacing unsafe equipment, which obviously creates a whole new set of potential costly issues. By allowing local school boards the option to internally transfer funds from capital to LTFM or vice versa, it has the potential to save school districts substantially.
Do you have any questions or discussion? Yeah, I think this is just a really common sense thing that these two funds can vary from time to time, and the ability to have the flexibility to move money from one restricted fund to the other restricted fund would really help school districts across the state.
And one thing that I didn't share in the presentation or talk about that is very important, and you guys understand as board members, maybe the public doesn't. If the funds aren't there, we have to take for our unassigned fund balance. And that we have policy that says we should be at 10%, which we're trying to get there. And this would also free up those dollars to get the unassigned fund balance to a healthier position. And still be able to fix the things we need to fix and get and purchase the things we need to purchase. So, yeah. It directly affects the unassigned fund balance.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, we're doing this by roll call since it is a resolution. Brittany?
Aye.
Laura? Cole?
Aye.
David? Aye. Lindsay?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Micah? Resolution passes. On to 9.8, this is to approve the non-certified contract for Hannah Mahler, paraprofessional class 2, step 3, effective September 20th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Lindsay.
Amy.
Amy.
I'll
Do I have a
second it. I'll second.
And Lindsay seconds, it saves me. All right. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 9.9. This is to approve the non-certified contract for Michelle Polinsky, paraprofessional, Class 2, Step 1, as 0.8 FTE, effective September 3rd, 2024. Do I have a motion? Motion by Laura. Do I have a second? Second by Nicole. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to 9.10, this is to approve the certified contract for Jenny West, special education teacher, MA Step 10, effective September 23rd, 2024. Do I have a motion? Motion by Brittany. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 10.1, the next board meeting is Monday, September 23rd, 2024 at 6 p.m. here in the DGF Community Room in Clinton. 10.2, the policy committee meeting will follow the board meeting on September 23rd at the same location. On to number 11, this is to adjourn the regular meeting of the DGF School Board. Do I have a motion? Motion by Nicole, do I have a second? Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. 6:53.
I didn't know if you wanted to bring up these things that the lawyers come up with us.
No,